Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent, and currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on this program, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world's famous juggler, Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself, Ozzy?
I'm all right. I was curious about the Curb reference, just random or any particular reason?
Well, there's a few feelings about this movie, so but yeah, that was
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of Curb, I did witness a pig Parker at my nephew's flag football game. And then it made another person do the pig Parker, and it messed up the whole thing. I felt compelled to bring that up just because I had a very disturbing conversation with my nephew. They saw Young Frankenstein.
They did not like it.
He hated it.
Why?
He said it wasn't funny. And I was like, how is it not funny?
Like, and then Ozzy's going to yell at you why you should think it's funny too.
I just started reciting lines from it, and they're just like, no, it's just objectively bad. And I was like, you're the only person on this planet that holds that opinion.
How old is he?
15.
I could understand. You should have just looked at him and be like, you're too dumb to understand it then.
We then went on to watch Spaceballs. And then he was just like, at the end, it's like, yeah, it's all right. I was like, just all right? Like, what about the brilliant commentary between the cross-eyed guy as the gunner, who hired that guy, the other cross-eyed guy? I'm surrounded by assholes because that's what happens as you're in society. You're in a place dealing with somebody who shouldn't be employed doing something that's supposed to be helping you out. He's like, well, I didn't think about it that way. I was like, maybe you'll like it when you'll get older. But I mean, like, I loved this movie when I was like 6.
Maybe that's the problem. Like, I think that age you were showing it to him for the first time is a little old. I think if you would have got him a little younger,
he would have appreciated the cartoon delivery.
Yes.
Or because you also had the history of, I probably shouldn't have watched this at this age. So your exposure, maybe. I don't know what his exposure has been, but.
You had the one nephew that said he didn't like Young Frankenstein, right? That I didn't really notice him laughing at any moment of Spaceballs. But at least the other nephew had a great laugh at the moment that I at least would have expected, that being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That sounds like something that an idiot would have on his luggage. And he says, that's amazing. I have the same combination on my luggage. The younger nephew popped really hard for that. So I was,
there you go.
I was satisfied with that, at least.
I like how he said, I had a nephew in past tense.
Yeah, I disowned him. I went to the court's reason for being disrespected Young Frankenstein. So I don't know. We'll see what he thinks of History of the World. Anyway, moving on.
I want to hear about Airplane.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. However, we are not reviewing any of these classics today. This week, we are reviewing and discussing The Nice Guys. Todd, I apologize, Flashroom producer. I didn't ask how you were doing.
I'm doing all right. I think this movie opens up some floodgates, though.
Okay. All right. I think I know what you're getting at. We'll see. We'll get to that momentarily. This movie, The Nice Guys, released on May 20th, 2016. Rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 56 minutes. Todd, do you have a trailer available?
Yes, we do.
It's my husband. He's gone missing.
Missing?
I'm terribly worried. It's just Fred's never been gone this long before.
How long has he been missing?
Since the funeral.
Well, I can start right away. You're a private investigator?
My profession is very complicated, okay? It's nuanced.
That's a lot of blood.
You beat people up and charge money?
Yeah. Sad, isn't it?
How much would you charge to beat up my friend Janet?
What? How much you got?
$30?
That's good. This conversation is over.
The mob is trying to spread its operation to Los Angeles. Somehow, my daughter Amelia is involved. Please, find her.
You seen this girl?
What's in it for me?
Oh, we can do this the easy way.
I'm currently doing it the easy way.
Whatever happened to offering me $20?
It's the recession. This is a high-profile case.
Made the newspapers.
Where is Amelia?
What the hell's going on?
Oh, you know, there's a guy coming to kill us. That kind of crap. Hey, can you behave like a professional?
I'm sorry.
She's in danger, man. We have to do something about it.
She's dead.
She's not dead. She's not dead.
Why do you think everyone involved with this case was dying? This is not you. You're not a murderer.
You just killed 3 people.
I know, but I'm saying deep down.
Look, if you come in here, you beat up on me. It's part of the job, I accept it. But what did you do? You pissed me off.
Before we go solving the crime of the century, let's deal with the rotting corpse.
I got a plan.
We thought throwing water balloons over a hedge was bad.
Oh, that's right. Very nice. That was the trailer for The Nice Guys, again released on February 20th, 2016, rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 86 minutes. Written by Shane Black and Anthony Baragozzi, directed by Shane Black, who is also the co-screenwriter for Lethal Weapon, along with Jeffrey Boehm, which I got to bring up because he co-wrote the screenplay for Inner Space and wrote the screenplay for Indiana Jones Last Crusade. That's how my brain just kind of linked everything together. So, of course, I already had a slant in the beginning because I made that connection. Anyhow, initial thoughts on this. The reason why this was selected is because as I host trivia 4 nights a week, you can check it out, always free. But I ask around, I always ask people what's the funniest movie they've ever seen. Not what they believe is critically acclaimed to be the best film, but what they enjoyed the most having watching a movie or whatever. And I had one of the servers at Griffin's Grill in particular in Los Alamitos say, The Nice Guys, hands down one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. And what it really gave me insight on the personality, because I won't say that this is it's not a bad movie. I wouldn't necessarily call it a traditional full-fledged comedy. It is definitely a hybrid comedy action film, and I think that's what Todd was referring to by
I brought that up before
right?
I brought it up before we even decided to do it, but I wasn't that familiar. You said you watched the trailer, we're good. But I knew Shane Black. And if you look at every one of his writing filmographies from Lethal Weapon on, they're all the same movie. Like action comedy. Minus the Monster Squad.
This kind of leaned, I felt, more towards comedy, and I think that's how it was marketed. Like that trailer had arguably the funniest moments of the movie in it. And it saved all the action and drama and suspense for the actual movie itself.
Right. And I had it was mentioned that this was on Netflix, so we could check it out there. And so I go to look at it, and I even messaged the group. I was like, are you sure this is the movie we're talking about? Like, this is the right one, right? Because I didn't know how this fit in the comedy world of it all, but and that was before watching any bit of it, so not even a trailer, but just even the cast, I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go. So
I think it sets it up at the very beginning of like what to expect. It's not necessarily that it's a situation of comedic events, but rather the characters themselves, in particular Ryan Gosling's character. I mean, I'll just say this right now. Anytime that he did his high-pitched scream and his voice would crack, that got me every single time.
Yeah.
And I think that's why when I saw the trailer for it and I said, okay, we got to do this, is because you saw a lot of funny in the trailer. And now I see that a lot of it was front-loaded, or rather a lot of it overloaded with the comedy in the trailer, I guess, to attract those to the theaters to go see it. And I mean, it wasn't a bad thing.
The marketing definitely had an agenda. Even the poster.
Sure. Yeah. You can look at the guy's face behind me, right?
You can see it's colorful.
And then like, it's kind of like, you don't really take him seriously, but it seemed like there was some slight moments where they leaned into the comedy more here than in any of these traditional type of movies. Like one of the things Shane Black co-wrote was The Last Boy Scout with Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans.
Great film.
I loved it. I didn't feel it leaned into the comedy as much as this did. Because you had Gosling's character be a little bit more goofy and a little bit sillier than anything you saw in Last Boy Scout, for example.
As a matter of fact, that's kind of why the Larry David Curb reference was there. So Ryan Gosling, I find like his character just had such weird, random things coming back at him, things shooting at him, like that were so out there. It was like the kind of weird, like, of course that would happen kind of moment that I expected in like a Curb episode. And even when he was like, I'm pretty sure I can't die.
Right. So there's moments like those that I was talking about where it really like kind of leaned into the humor a bit more than in these previous types of movies. So like I said, for me, I'd mentioned the Ryan Gosling scream. Anytime like that scream happened, his voice would crack, I'd lose it. Or what? Actually, I won't say this just in case it's said by one of you guys, but go ahead, Greg, for a favorite moment.
Oh, favorite moment. I'm going to tell you my least favorite moment first, which is when a giant case of Yoo-Hoo was shattered. And that is such a travesty. Like, that hurt personally. Like, I dislike that so much. But outside of the screams, there was a moment that was, like, such a great passing line. And if you've never had this food, you wouldn't necessarily understand. But there was a line as they're approaching a party, and there's these two ladies walking out, and they said, all I told them was, if you want me to do that, don't eat the asparagus. And I was simultaneously grossed out and like laughing my ass off at the same time.
Shock. Mine's a little inappropriate too. So I'm only going to do part of it. There's a line it's said a couple times, but don't say end stuff. Just say they were doing. Well,
yes.
But yeah, we get the end stuff bit a couple times. It made me laugh.
So just a couple of things I wanted to point out after watching the trailer. First off, the line when they're in the bar that says, "What happens to $20?" and the response is recession. That line was cut out from the movie, which is unfortunate because
that's a funny one.
That was pretty funny. Right, exactly. Also, there's two moments that you see in the trailer. First is a window being broken, and then at the side of blood, him fainting, which you see like two or 3 seconds of, and you also see 2 or 3 seconds of someone being thrown out a window while they're in an elevator. Those are moments that happen in the trailer, but the way those moments are presented in the movie, there's a payoff there that makes it worth it. So it's not just like, oh, all the funniest moments were in the trailer, like highlights, if you will, but they have some better payoff when you see them in the actual movie. In my own personal opinion, I'm not sure how you guys feel about that, but were those two in particular.
I think with those, like, even though it looks like the punchline, it's actually the setup.
There a lot goes into the setup, and it's worth paying attention to. And it's a fun movie from start to finish. I mean, even though there's like, there's murder involved and there's a crime element and drama and whatnot, it's still fun and entertaining from start to finish. And like Todd said, it does kind of open the floodgates for us to, I guess, now review these hybrid comedy action films. But I think
do it.
Don't.
Okay, I know what he's fearing, but we'll do an action show for that one.
Yeah, we're not going to do Die Hard, Greg. Don't worry.
No one laughs during Die Hard.
As long as we don't do it during Christmas.
If we did Die Hard with a Vengeance, though,
maybe we can
There's some funny moments there.
I'm going to date this. Maybe we can do like they used to do with the Super Mario Brothers show, like 4 episodes will be comedy. Then the last one, instead of Zelda, we'll do an action one. See, we can mix it up.
All right, one more on that in due time. So let's get to some ratings here. Greg, what would you rate this film?
Whew. I was leaning towards a 4 because I had a lot of fun. It was funny, but that case of Yoo-hoo just brings it down to a 3.5. I'm sorry, but that was just an unnecessary sacrifice for this film. So yeah, I'm gonna go 3.5 just for the Yoo-hoo.
Todd?
Well, I don't have the attachment to the fake chocolate drink that you do, so I'm gonna stick with the 4.
I was more of a strawberry quick kind of guy.
Hell yeah!
Hey, now you're talking.
That was some delicious stuff. So it's a 4 from me. Now, I don't know if this is a sort of bias from my point, because I do feel that hybrid action comedies are like my perfect movie. However,
Well, you like action and comedy, makes sense.
full disclosure, having said that, I still rate it a 4. You can check it out as of right now, that being April 9th, 2023. It is available on Netflix and, of course, available for rent or purchase wherever you collect your digital formats of films. So I always try to figure out a question that relates to the movie plot point. However, since we've never become private investigators, I found this very difficult to come up with a question that would relate to the movie. I do say that I found it amusing how we just finished reviewing The Stoned Age, which is a movie filmed in the early 90s about the 70s. And here we're watching a movie that was made in 2016 about the 70s.
Right.
I found that amusing.
We got a theme going. We got to get another 70s one coming in a couple weeks.
There's plenty of them, I'm sure. But ladies and gentlemen, I will take this time to say that I do apologize that due to my recent pickup in the trivia schedule, I'm no longer available for any live shows, that we're able to have any live discussions and reviews. However, I would at least like to open up some voting. We can at least get a fan vote going on the Patreon. Todd, how do you feel about that? I know I'm
we can do
throwing this
that
on you. And then for Memorial Day, the Memorial Day episode, that'll be a fans vote episode. How about that?
Yeah, we can do that. And we can still do it live and as we tape it for the Patreon. So at least they can join us live whenever it's taped.
That's above my pay grade. I'll leave that up to the producer.
Yes, okay.
All right, so be sure to get some vote, Todd will put up a list momentarily, eventually, soon.
Yeah,
between soon and eventually. Eventually sounds like, it'll eventually happen. But if you say soon, you don't know how soon, just soon, between soon and eventually. So be sure to check the Patreon where you can vote for just $1 a month. Yes, Todd.
I was just say, be nice right now.
I'm trying to be nice.
Just making sure. Remember, I'm about to pick some movies.
Yeah, I understand that. I have a very difficult time with the effort being nice.
Now that we've opened up the hybrid thing,
we're staking our claim.
We are. It's gonna be a good one. I'll pick some good ones.
All right, excellent. So be sure to check that out, and of course, we'll be back next week with a new episode. So, any other thoughts before we head out for this evening, gentlemen?
You mentioned the strawberry quick, always good. I was, we had the mix. If you ever took the mix for the strawberry quick and the banana quick and you mixed them all in one, that was delicious too.
There was a banana quick?
Oh, yes, there was. Not so great on its own, but with the strawberry.
Here's the thing.
Probably good with the chocolate too.
Well, what my mom used to do, she actually used to take one banana and put it in a blender with milk and make banana milk that way. Then I'm thinking, if you mix the strawberry quick powder with that, then you might have something.
Yeah, we're talking.
But
throwing some ice.
Enough of me getting a mental diabetic attack here. But Todd, anything else before we head out for the evening? Pay attention to the Patreon vote coming soon. and you could vote for just $1 a month. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for world famous juggler Greg Larson and Flesh Wound producer Todd, this is Ozzy V, and we'll see you next week right here on a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce.